Hello, everyone, and welcome to the video today. In our first video, we discussed the first D of career development, and we're going to get into the second D today. So we're talking about what we call the 4 Ds of career development from a college student's point of view, okay? And so as a college student or a graduate or an alum, it's important for you to understand what career development is, what is your responsibility for your career development, and what resources do you have available to you for your career development, specifically here at East Bay. So this is for East Bay students and alum. I'm Matt Harris. I'm a licensed counselor. I have been working with college students for over 20 years. I've worked at 3 other universities and a law school. I've been with East Bay since 2018, and I specialize in helping students convert their education into gainful employment. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So why career development? Why do we care? As we've mentioned in past videos and workshops, we can answer that question with a question. Well, why college? Why worry about a college education or a college degree or skill development for that matter? Ultimately, we want to achieve the goal of gainful employment. And when we think of gainful employment, we can use certain things to help describe that, which would include a decent pay rate with bonuses and bumps and raises that would be sufficient for you to be able to support yourself and your family. Good working conditions, upward mobility, paid time off, benefits. So those are the things that people are looking for in gainful employment opportunities, and college can certainly open up many doors for that. A college degree, like everything, really needs career development to be a part of that equation so that you can not only locate opportunities, which is what we talked about in video 1, but also apply and be competitive in the application process, which is what we're talking about today. And so, again, I want to put these questions in front of you. And if you can answer these, this is great. You're well on your way. But just as a kind of a prompt, what is ATS, right? What is ATS in regards to your career development? Here's another good question. How many premium resources do you have available to you as a student at East Bay? And then what's an informational interview? If you don't know those, that's okay. We're going to unpack that stuff, and we've already reviewed that in our previous video, and we are going to continue to unpack that. But that's really how we want to start our conversation, is have some curiosity. So this is my definition of career development for a college student. So just over the years, this is what I've come up with, is that you, the college student or graduate, are going to have the process of acquiring specific insights, resources, and strategies to create opportunities in a work-related field. And just like last time, we'll use a couple of different emails to illustrate the difference of when career development is present versus when it isn't. And the first email, you can pause this and you can read through it. You'll see that this person has had some ups and downs and has had a hard time securing employment, securing even actually just employment, much less gainful employment. And at the last line here, really, if you read between the lines, really what this student is asking for is help with the career development piece. What's career development? What are my responsibilities and roles in it? And what kind of resources do you have for me? Okay, and so if we compare that to another email that I get just as often, here you can pause this and read through it if you'd like. This student is expressing their heartfelt gratitude, was able to actually secure a position in the field, which was a gainful employment opportunity. So you can see that when somebody has access and understands career development and how to use it, it can really make a difference into whether or not your college education is doing what you've meant for it to do, or not quite getting it done. So let's do a brief overview of the 4 Ds of development. Now, the reason I've broken up your career development into the 4 Ds is to make it a little more manageable, because all 4 of these Ds are extremely important in their own right. And yet it's important to be able to break them down and work on these individually so that you can be effective and you can have some kind of growth edges that you can take hold of and start walking toward the goals you want to achieve. And so I've broken your career development down into discover, document, design, and decide. And I use this illustration. One of our great student workers, graphic design student, um, created this visual for us, and I really like it. It really shows us that over here, either you've just graduated from the classroom or you're currently in the classroom, and your career development is this span going across the bridge to what? To gainful employment, right? To your career. And across that span are these 4 Ds that I like to undergird this bridge with. Whether you've gone to college or not, even people that didn't attend college, if they are in a gainful employment opportunity, they have navigated this span. They have figured out how to find opportunities, apply for them, be competitive, and accept them. Okay. Now, as mentioned, we've already talked about discover. And we're going to talk about this one today, and then there'll be videos for the last 2. So we're going to focus on the second D today. Now, the first D, as mentioned in the other video, this is major and career exploration. So discover. Well, how do I discover what it is I'm interested in? And how do I discover what opportunities are out there? And we went into detail about how to approach that and some of the resources you have. The next one, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is your professional writing. How do you communicate in written form your qualifications to recruiters and hiring managers? In your career development, it's important to focus on 2 forms of communication. One is written form, resume, cover letter, about section of your profile on social media pages, personal statements, statement of purpose, graduate school applications. How do you communicate in written form your what we call SKAs, your skills, knowledge, and abilities? The other form of communication that you want to work on in your career development is verbal communication. How do you speak to people? How do you orate your qualifications? What's your 30-second commercial? Do you conduct informational interviews? How are you at interviewing? Okay. So those are 2 forms of communication you're going to want to work on. All right, so let's get going on the document, but let's real quick go through the other 2 Ds. So the other one is design, and we'll have a video on that. This is how do you brand and market yourself? This is the 3rd D of your career development. How do you brand and market yourself? How do you reach out to people in your field? Are you only communicating with people like your friends and loved ones? They're not the ones that are necessarily going to be offering you jobs or have opportunities for you. You need to be able to get comfortable or get skilled at talking to people in your field. And how do you brand and market yourself? How do you approach that? How do you interact with people? That's your 3rd D. And then the final D is decide. And so how do you decide, do I want to go to college? Do I want a bachelor's degree? Do I want to go to graduate school? Do I want to take a gap year? Do I want to do an internship? Do I want to get a paid internship over this? How do I want to approach that? If I have several offers and the one that I really wanted opens up and they offer me the position, how do I let the other 2 know that or the other offers know I may not be interested? How do I professionally approach that? So we help you out with all four of those D's of your career development. Now let's get focused back on document. How do you write resumes, cover letters, reference pages, and your about section? One of the best places we can get started is, let's see here. Okay. On our webpage. So, as I've mentioned in the past, if you are looking for employment, an internship, paid internship, full-time employment, part-time employment, I would recommend that you bookmark or favorite this web page. So this is our web page. This is the Career Empowerment web page, and here's the web address. It's careercenter.csueast.edu. That's all one word with just the periods there. Bookmark this, okay? This has all of the resources that we're talking about today to help you out. This is a great touchstone that you can use as you are working on the 4Ds of your career development. And you really don't even have to click on anything on the main page. You can just scroll down. So if you scroll down, you can see here on the rotating ribbon, here's our calendar of events. And then here you can see a workshop series coming up in a couple of weeks, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in June, the 16th, 17th, and 18th. We're going to be doing a workshop series. You can click on that. That'll be Zoom. Okay, that's available to you. So if you scroll down, you can see all the resources available to you. Now, you remember that question I asked you at the beginning? How many premium resources do you have available to you as a college student at East Bay? Well, here you go. Count them up. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 premium resources paid for. That means that these subscriptions are already paid for. You can access them at no charge. If you were to access these on your own, you'd be paying hundreds of dollars a month, every month, to access this stuff. So Handshake, you're going to want to activate your Handshake account if you have not. Handshake, really quick, we're not focusing on that today, but Handshake is a job search site that you can also look up events that are going to be on campus, employers that are going to be on campus. You can look up employers that are looking for East Bay students and alum. You can reach out to them on Handshake. But we are focusing on JobScan today. So I do want you to activate your JobScan account. Now, the reason I'm saying activate is because you already have an account assigned to all of these platforms, and you'll use your NetID and password in your Horizon email to access these resources. So you will access JobScan, and so you'll click on that, and mine's already, it'll show a single sign-on. It'll show a something like this initially, and then you'll put in your NetID and password. Mine shows a little different. So, and we're going to bounce. I have a couple of documents we're going to use as examples today. So remember I asked you what was ATS? So if you don't know what ATS is, you really need to understand what it is moving forward, because ATS is called Applicant Tracking Software. Zoom in on that. Applicant tracking software. These are systems that companies and organizations use to process high volumes of applications. Some jobs can get up to tens of thousands of applications for, just a limited amount of positions. And so these companies and organizations, they employ these software platforms, which are computer matching algorithms that scan your resume and application before a human even reads it. And if you're hearing this for the first time, that may surprise you to know that your resume may not even have been read if it's gone through an ATS system and it got filtered out. And so it's really important to understand what that is and how to navigate those. And so we recommend you use what is called an ATS simulator. And that is what JobScan is. JobScan, there's many of them out there. Well, with the ATS systems, there's close to 30 different brands, types, makes um, of ATS systems. The majority of the companies use like the top 4 or 5. There's like Greenhouse, Workday, Taleo. There's some of them that are pretty popular. Anyway, you'll want to know, is the company using an ATS system? And if so, which one, right? And so you'll want to use a ATS simulator. And that's what JobScan is. There's others out there. We encourage you to use whichever platforms you feel comfortable with. JobScan you get at no charge. So you could use Top Resume, Resume Reviewer, whichever ones you want to use. We encourage you to use those, but certainly understand what's an ATS system and then how can I use a simulator. And so you'll activate the ATS, the JobScan, and it's going to look similar to this. Mine is an admin account, so mine looks a little different than yours will, but it's pretty close. There's tutorials you can watch, little short 2 to 5 minute video clips from people that work at JobScan that actually explain the system to you. They break it down functionally, what it's all about. I'd recommend watching those. A lot of those are loaded on their YouTube channel. You can just type in JobScan on YouTube and you can have access to their tutorials. So if we were to put this into practice, remember in our first video, how do we locate opportunities? Where do we find jobs or internships to apply for? Now we are going from the idea that you found an opportunity, now you need to apply. And so let's just say you're looking for a, let's say data entry job, for the summer or something like that. So just data entry jobs near me. And let's say Quest Logistics, right? So let's say you wanted to apply for this one. And again, this is just any of them you find, any of the jobs you find, this is really what you're going to do. You're going to click on it and you'll open it up and let's say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, this is great. It's part-time. It's what I'm looking for, whatever. It basically matches what it is you are searching for in a job or a internship or whatever. So you found an opportunity. Now what you're going to want to do is run your resume against that job description, and that's what JobScan does for you. So to put this into practice, you're going to click on New Scan, and you can use the Resume Builder to, let's click on that. Let's click on Resume Builder. You can either have it walk through, create a new resume with you. You can import your LinkedIn account to JobScan, or you could import your resume that you currently have and use it. Okay. And it will house your resumes for you. It'll keep the resumes you have. Okay. So then you click New Scan and then you upload a version of your resume, or you can copy and paste your resume into here on the screen on the left, and then the screen on the right. You're going to, if it's not obvious, we're going to copy in the job description. Okay. So we'll cut and paste the job description or internship, whatever it is you're applying for. So we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it. Okay. Now, a couple of things. You can click scan right here. And what that'll do is that'll take you to a dashboard where you can see what the computer system has results are after it's scanned your resume. You can't really edit anything on that screen. So yeah, I would recommend you at least the first couple of times you use this to go through that scan screen and see what it looks like. Okay. Because from that screen, then you can click on the Power Edit button and then go to the Power Edit dashboard. If you click on Power Edit, you can't really navigate back to the scan. So for the first couple of times, I'd recommend you click on Scan and get familiar with what's the computer algorithm seeing when it runs your resume. Okay, so we're just going to click on Power Edit. Well, actually, let's click on Scan, and it's running some AI software to show you what an ATS system has found. Here's what this looks like. You can go through here. You can see that the results, it's very visual. There's a lot of stuff here on this dashboard. There's uh, 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 graphs and charts, frequency bars, icons. So like with a street light, you got green means go, red means stop. Same thing here. You're going to find that these red X mean that what? Means that it's looked at the job description. It's looking for something on your resume. It doesn't really see it. So it's telling you, hey, stop, take a look at this. If it's a green check, I mean, most likely that means it's on the job description that found it on your resume. You're good to go. Okay. Spend some time on that. You're going to find on this match rate score that it can go up to 100. As you learn about and edify yourself about JobScan, you're going to find out you don't want a 100 score. Okay. And again, I want you to go through those tutorials and watch that. But simply put, if you were to get like a 95 or 100 match rate score, you're literally putting everything off of that job description onto your resume, and that can look pretty odd to the reader. If it'll make it through the ATS system, but now the person reading it, they're gonna be like, geez, that looks like a copy and paste job to me. You do want about a 70 to 80 somewhere in there. I don't know how good I can do on here, but 70 to 80. Okay, you want about a 70 to 80. That a caution and a caveat. That doesn't guarantee you're going to get an interview. That just means you're most likely going to make it through the ATS system, and then now a recruiter is going to look at your resume. How does it look? So if JobScan has only made it good enough to get you through ATS, but you haven't edited it enough to make it competitive visually to a person reading it, you may get through ATS and then get the rejection letter. So there you go. Okay, I do want you guys to spend some more time understanding that. All right. Now, if we click on the Power Edit screen, this is where you literally can edit the document. So it is generating a brand new resume for me. Here it is. This is a brand new resume it just generated. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff you can find here on this screen. It's still calculating. Let's look at this dashboard. So we have up here at the top, we have the resume, we have a cover letter option, and then the job description. So those are all clickable. This is a report, the editor, and the style. Those are all clickable. Okay, so these are all clickable to move us into different tabs on this screen. All right, so let's stick with report and resume for now. So first off, we see searchability. So as we scroll down through here, as you read this, you can pause and you can read this. It's given us the red X, which means what? Right? Okay, good. All right, let's stop. Let's read this. It's telling us, hey, why don't you update the job information? So if we click on this hypered box, it is telling us, hey, we want some more information. We want to know the name of the company and the job title. Looks like we have the job title there. And then the URL. Now, why would they want that information? Why would JobScan want the name of the company, the job title, and the URL? Okay. The reason why is because in the job description, it's going to list in the URL here. You click on this apply this application portal. I'm not going to click on that because it'll actually start sending me suggestions from Daily Remote. But if to apply for this job right here, you would click on this and it would bring you to a URL. You would copy that URL. Okay, you copy that, and then you're going to put it in here, and you're going to paste it into here, and then you will update this screen. So it wants the name, the title of the job, and the URL. Why do they want the URL? Because if it's using an ATS system, which most likely it is, I think something like 90 or 95% of all companies that accept electronic applications use some form of an ATS system. So is it using an ATS system? If so, which one? Because in that URL of the ATS system is embedded, of those like close to 30 different ATS systems, it's embedded in that URL. And so when you update that, JobScan can go, oh, okay, it's using Taleo or whatever. So now I can verify whether this system can read your resume correctly or not. What I mean by that is depending on the ATS system, if I have down that I have organizing on my resume, because I see on the job description that they say organizational skills, right? Well, intuitively, you would think, oh, I could type organizing, that I have organizing in my background. But if the ATS system is looking for organizational skills, it won't catch that. So it depends how powerful or intuitive the systems are when it reads your resume. So that's why it's important to update this information. Okay. And then you can go through these check marks and the red X's and find out what it is they're looking for. All right. Hard skills. So as we drop down, it has hard skills section, and there's 7 of 7 are missing. Not only are 7 of 7 missing, but look at this. So you see 0 /5. That means that it's on the job description 5 times. This term is on that job description 5 times. It's not on my resume at all. So there's a frequency there as well. Flex is on there for 2. Now, again, flex. I mean, I don't know, but do you want that on your resume? I'm not sure. That's a choice point for you. Do I want to add all these on there so I can get 100 score, or do I want to make sure that it represents me according to that job description? So does this mean you have to have data entry on your resume 5 times? Not necessarily, but I definitely have it more than once, maybe twice on there at least. Maybe a health assessment, blueprint. So these are suggestions for you to pay attention that they see is on the job description, and they are highly recommending you put that on your resume. Okay. Hopefully this is making sense so far. Soft skills. Complete. Says that there's none on there that I need to worry about. Recruiter tips. Okay. So go through these and understand what it is they're looking for. Now, let's say you wanted to add, this is a fully editable resume document. Okay. You can delete stuff off of here. You could delete this off. You could delete this entire section. You could edit the heading. Whatever it is you want to do. You could, if you wanted to update this action statement, you could get rid of it. If you wanted to add a hard skill, so let's say you wanted to add health assessment, you could either click this arrow right here, and it will, if you click that, it's going to add it to my core skills. Okay, one thing I don't like about JobScan's resume template that it makes for us is it creates this section called core skills and then just lists them and separates them by comma. That's all bunched up. I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe put some bullets there or something. But anyway, what it did is it added it right there, and you can see it actually raised our match rate score. If you look there, it raised our match rate score. Okay, so that's one way to add it. Let's say you want to add it by putting it in an action statement. So instead of clicking on the add arrow, you click on the term, and it's going to use AI to generate 3 different action statements you can use. So you can read through these, and let's say you like this one, you copy it and bring it over here and say you want to put it here. And paste it. There you go. So you added quality standards, okay? Added quality standards, and again, look at that. Our match rate went up, okay? Let's say you don't like it and it's in here. You can rephrase it. You could highlight that section and then have it rephrase for you. Except, nah, let's rewrite. So have it generate yet a different one. Okay, this is fully editable, you guys, and you really can't break it. All right, but I really want you to use this before you need it. This is pretty important. You have full access to the premium features of JobScan. This is a large suite packed with a bunch of options and editing tools. You need to know how to use this before you need it to do the work for you. Okay. So get in here and start working on this stuff. Once you get over here to editor, you can add in different sections. Let's say you wanted to add in publications that you were published. You could add in publications. Okay. And then if we go on to style, click on style here, there's a bunch of different templates you can try. Let's say you want a different template. These are all ATS friendly templates that they'll get through. Some documents that you save and submit, depending on their format and their layout, it may not be read by an ATS system. So I want to be careful of that. Okay. Good. All right. Now over here at cover letter, you can click on cover letter and it will generate a cover letter for you based on your resume and that job description. So it's generated a cover letter, a start of a cover letter. This is where I want to be sure that we kind of pause and reflect on what we're doing here. We're having AI write documents or help us write documents that we're going to submit as professional documents on our behalf. That's great. We're in a world of AI. You're competing against people that use AI. Be cautious, okay? Don't just take what AI gives you and submit that for a lot of reasons. One, it's going to make mistakes, typos, stuff like that. It's not going to read right. And unless you've trained the AI exactly to do what you want to do, which takes some work and some effort, it's going to lie. It's going to misrepresent you on this document. What we've done is we've asked it, write me a cover letter for that job description based off my resume. Well, if it says that they want somebody with 3 years experience, let's just say that on the job description, and all you've done is volunteered, let's say you volunteered at a soup kitchen and they say that you have 3 years at a soup kitchen. Well, they just lied. It just lied for you. So do what I was at a training in AI, and I really liked the quote that she gave me. She said, when you're using AI, don't fall in love with the solution AI gives you. Fall in love with the problem you want AI to solve. So stay over here. Has it done what I wanted it to do? If not, let me edit myself back in there. So using AI, use it responsibly. Okay. If you want to have it start or create a cover letter and resume for you, do it. Make sure you go back and edit and personalize it and make sure that it's accurate. If you already have a cover letter, run it through AI, right? Have it do some editing and proofreading for you. You can go on to like ChatGPT. You can go on to Copilot, Gemini, any of these AI platforms, and use it, right? Cover letter, okay? And then put the job description in there, and here we go. It'll start writing a job description for us. So again, use it, but use it wisely. Okay. Now, it still can be difficult to write a resume, even with AI. you need to be able to share with them your competencies, your skills, your experience. And so let's talk about skills. So recruiters and hiring managers, they're looking for two different types of skills. They're looking for soft skills and hard skills. Okay. And let me see here. Find this real quick. Okay. So they are looking for um, both hard and soft skills. So here's a sample resume, and this is in our handbook, which is on the Career Empowerment website in the handbook. Let me show you that real quick. So it's here. If you scroll down past the uh, premium resources, here you go. Right here's the handbook. So we're on the main page of Career Empowerment Center. And if you scroll down past the resources, you can download the handbook. It's 54 pages, and you can scroll through. This is your handbook, okay? But here under document, so here's discover, document, design, and decide. Document, you can do, here's sample resumes and cover letters. There's a sample cover letter. Here's the resume I'm talking about. So on this resume, you'll see that there's a skills section. I would recommend that you put a skills section on your resume. I would recommend that. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. Hopefully you saw here at the Career Center, Career Empowerment website. Scroll down, it's right here. I didn't know if you were able to see that or not. Okay. So I've seen a lot of students who bring a resume and they have skills section, which is great. They also have what are called soft skills on there. Now let's define these skills. Recruiters and hiring managers are looking for, they are looking for hard and soft skills. Okay. Let me get to it here. So they are looking for what are called soft transferable skills, also known as professional skills, and then they're looking for hard skills. All right. And so soft transferable skills are just that. They transfer whether you are, cutting lawns for a summer job, or you're an RN, emergency room nurse, or a teacher, or a bus driver, or a data analyst or whatever. You have to be dependable and reliable and have attention to detail and critical thinking and customer service and communication. Those are called skills you need no matter where you go. Okay. Hard skills, on the other hand, are skills that are found within your field or your profession. So, for example, if you're a kinesiology major, range of motion, anatomy and physiology, strength and conditioning, case notes management, HIPAA, okay? For computer science, algorithm, regression analysis. The point is find out what it is, the skills that are in your field that you've been studying and you've been tested on and you've developed. Those are called your hard skills. Recruiters and hiring managers want to know what hard and soft skills you have. But if you put in a skills section that customer service or team player, that's not really telling them anything. That's just telling, or Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office, that's just telling them that stuff. Hard skills can stand on their own in a skills section. So like here for this allied health professional, patient care and safety, medical terminology, HIPAA, okay? Now, do hard and soft skills both belong on your resume? Yeah, they do. Yep. Yeah. It's just the hard skills in the skills section. The hard and soft skills belong in your action statements which are these. Your resume is made up of action statements. So here you go. These are all action statements. Okay. Why am I saying statements instead of sentences? Resumes typically don't have sentences because there are usually no proper nouns. There's no I, me, my, we, they, us, none of that. It's usually statements that are separated either by a period or a bullet point. You are the noun of the document. Like you're the noun. So this entire document's about you. I can't think of a time you'd have a sentence on a resume. So these are called action statements. And the hard and soft skills belong in here. So right here, the very first word on this resume is what? Is that a hard or a soft skill? The word reliable. What is that? That's a soft skill, right? So the very first word on this resume is a soft skill. Compassionate, team collaboration, front desk. So the point is to have hard and soft skills on the resume. In the skills section, I would only have hard skills. All right. Now, where can you find your hard skills? Well, a lot of that can be found in the job description for sure. And then also a place called learning outcomes. Now, learning outcomes are your education. And so you can find learning outcomes in the catalog. All right. So the catalog at East Bay Catalog, you can find your program. So if you go to the East Bay and just find the catalog, here we are, catalog, and then go to majors, and you can look it up by, however you want to break it down, whatever, department, degree type, college, whatever. Let's do degree type. And then let's say you are a, I don't know, industrial psychology and organizational psychology major. Let's say that's your major right here. As you click on it, it gives you your program description and then what are called your PLOs. So PLOs are program learning outcomes. This is your education. This is the living, breathing version of your college degree. Once you've earned your college degree, this is in practice what that includes, which is your BS in psychology. So these are statements, okay? These are your PLOs. There's also ILOs. You can look those up. That's part of institutional learning outcomes by attending an Institute of Higher Learning that is accredited. You earn those institutional learning outcomes. And then PLOs. And then the last one is SLOs, which stands for student learning outcomes. So let's say you took Psychology 330, Cognitive Psychology. You can click here. You can find these on your syllabi from all your syllabi, or you can look them up here on the catalog. Here you go. Here's your learning outcomes. So why do we care about learning outcomes when we're talking about your resume and cover letter? Because learning outcomes are clear, concise, to the point statements that highlight your qualifications in your field. Remember, I mentioned hard skills. Okay. What are employers and recruiters looking for when they're looking at resumes and applications? They're looking for clear, concise, to the point statements that highlight your qualifications in your field. So when they're looking at your resume, those action statements, they have to have some good wordsmithing to them. So you could, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could cut and paste this. I wouldn't recommend that. But it's your education. I mean, if you passed Psych 330, your professor is telling the outside world that you possess these learning outcomes, that he, she, or they taught these to you, they tested you on these, and you passed them. That's really what that means. So if you are applying to a community outreach job and they want somebody that has a psychology background and can show that they have that they're skilled in the field. So what you could say in like your in your profile here, right? Here's your profile. What you could say here, and here's this profile. You could say something like, included in there, graduate of industrial psychology program at Cal State East Bay with an emphasis in community development, whatever. And then you could say ability to explain scientific methods and cognitive processes as they apply to community populations or whatever, right? So you're using these statements to help trigger your action statements on your resume and cover letter, and help identify hard skills that you that are in your field. So if you see on the resume that they want somebody with scientific methods in their background, you could put that right here, scientific methods. You could put that right here. Hopefully that makes sense. I really want you to learn more about your learning outcomes and how to use them. All right. Okay. Now, another thing that comes up with people with a resume, quite common, is, Matt, I'm just graduating. I don't have any experience. I didn't have an internship, or I've never worked in the field. That's quite common. A lot of graduate students or college graduates, they don't have that. They've been studying in the field in the classroom. And so I'm going to recommend that let's see here. I'm going to recommend that you consider your education as part of that. And what I mean, I had a student who was graduating that spring, or that semester, and could not find a job, an entry-level job. Like, was applying for entry-level career jobs, gainful employment, couldn't find anything, and came in and said, I can't, I can't find anything. I said, okay, well, let's look at your resume. And so we looked at the resume, and it was an accounting student, great resume, great resume. It was a nice document, nice layout, nice profile at the top. Under the work experience, or under the experience section, actually had work experience as the heading, okay? And had worked at Target and Starbucks as the only experience on the resume. And I'm like, yeah, you're a 4-year, you're a student who's been studying 4 years, 2 of which have been studying in accounting. They're looking for what you can do, not just where you've worked. So on your resume, consider changing the experience section to either relevant or related, okay? And then put down projects, assignments, volunteer work, part-time employment, maybe a non-paid internship. This stuff matters. So we discussed a project that the student had done, and we put it down parenthetically. We listed it as a project and put the project name and the date. And here, and by putting project, we're letting them know, I didn't work at the accounting program. I did a project there. And so look at the action statements now, right? So instead of completing, coffee orders or stocking shelves or whatever, now these action statements speak to what the candidate can do based on what they've learned in school. So, run data analysis with Excel, use predictive analysis, work collaboratively with fellow team. Employers, especially entry-level jobs, they aren't looking for 10 years experience or 5 years. They get that you're probably have limited experience, but they want to know what you're capable of doing, not just where you've worked. And, you're not saying that you've done this for 10 years. You're not saying you're an expert at this. What you're saying is, yeah, I could do that. I could talk to you about that. I could learn. And I could go through your training and grow with you as a company. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for people that can fit into their culture, that have a good sense of what their strengths and weaknesses are, and how they could maybe grow with their company. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Here's some samples on here. If you want to pause this screen, you can take a look. This is just all the stuff I've made up. Okay. Here's an education section you can put on here. If you haven't graduated yet, you can parenthetically say that you're going to be graduating. Maybe we should update this to, 2028. You could list your GPA if it's a good one. If it's a low GPA and they're not asking for it, I wouldn't list it. You could list relevant outcomes instead of relevant courses. A lot of times people don't know what Econ 202 is if you put it on their resume. But if you put down the outcome from Econ, like, database management or whatever, that they may be able to relate to. Okay. One last thing I want to show you is how to write these action statements. So these are action statements. And recruiters and hiring managers, if you've made it through the ATS system and you've made it to the recruiter and you've got them interested in reading your document, now you want the content that they're reading to be relevant. And a good way to do that is to put your action statements in what I call the BAR, the background action result. There's also STAR, situation, task, action, result. Either one of those are fine. In the BAR method, the S and the T from STAR are actually combined for the B. So basically, to break this down, your action statement is the background. What is it that you do or did? Okay. The A is how. This is important. This is usually what's missing on a resume when I first meet with students. How did you get it done? Okay, you told me what you did. Maybe you gave me a result, maybe you didn't, but you're not telling me how you get it done. And this is exactly where you can load in your hard and soft skills in those action statements. And then, of course, the result. Now, the BAR can be ABR or RAB. It can be mixed around. It doesn't have to go linear like that. But you definitely want those three aspects to it in your action statement. So for instance, if we look here, this is just a background. Answer phones and relay messages. Okay. Okay, that was actually on a resume that I reviewed. That's accurate. At that internship that you did over the summer, you answered phones and relay messages. Okay, good. You're missing out though. Here you could add in the action because okay, this is what you did. How did you get it done? Right? What skill did you use? Oh, I used advanced communication. Used advanced communication, the A. Used advanced communication to answer phones and relay detailed messages to healthcare staff. Okay, so that's a more effective action statement. All right. So I'm hoping that this stuff is useful for you. Get going on JobScan and understanding ATS systems. Use AI responsibly and professionally. Go back through with your edits, making sure that you're doing that correctly. Go into your handbook, which is listed on the Career Center website. Again, let's go through the popcorn trail here. Go to Career Empowerment Center. Scroll down past the premium resources and click on handbook. And this is your handbook. And you can go through, it's clickable. You can, if you want to go to design and start working on your 30-second commercial before we meet again, we'll be having a video out for how to brand and market yourself. And this is a key feature or piece of that. You can get going on this. All right. So I hope this was helpful. You've got a lot of opportunities out there, and your work is to show them your skills, knowledge, and abilities, your qualifications for that job. And in this case, you're applying for the job. So you want to be able to list your SKAs, your skills, knowledge, and abilities, and make it so you can navigate through the ATS system and make sure you're using JobScan and some of the other practices that I just showed you. All right. Best of luck. Keep going, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.